The Golden State Warriors shouldn't be this good. But here we are. A team that looked like it was running on fumes suddenly had a pulse. And at the heart of it, as always, is Stephen Curry.
He's a four-time NBA champion, a two-time league MVP.
But something else is different. Something no one saw coming. It wasn't long ago that the Warriors looked lost. The questions kept piling up. Could they survive the twilight of Steph's career? Was their championship window finally shut? And then came the trade. Jimmy Butler. The critics called it desperate, a move that screamed panic more than a promise. But guess what? 2 games in, and the Warriors aren't just surviving, they're thriving. No, Butler isn't lighting it up from 3. That's never been his game. But what he brings is something the Warriors were missing. Toughness, defense, and a relentless drive that's contagious. He's the guy you hate to play against, but love to have on your team. And right now, he's making the Warriors a nightmare for everyone else. But let's be real, this team is still unpredictable. One night, they crush the Thunder and have fans dreaming of another title run. The next, they get blown out by the Suns, and reality hits hard. Are they a piece away from dominance or a roster away from disaster? But here's the thing. As long as Stephen Curry is on the floor, anything is possible. He's more than a shooter, he's the soul of this team. And with Butler alongside him, there's a new edge to this squad. A chip on their shoulder. And that chip, it's dangerous. So, shouldn't the Warriors be struggling? Maybe, but they aren't. And if they ever figure out how to be consistent, watch out because they might just pull off the impossible again. Before the Jimmy Butler trade, Golden State had a glaring problem. Beyond the brilliance of Steph, they had no reliable shot creator. And yet, they opened the season on fire. Their trademark ball movement, deadly shooting, and gritty defense propelled them to a 12-3 record. For a fleeting moment, they looked like contenders, a vintage Warriors squad with championship DNA. But the cracks appeared quickly. Opponents zeroed in on their weaknesses, and the collapse was swift. Key injuries to Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga, and Brandon Podziemski exposed their depth issues. Since November 23rd, they've stumbled to a 13-21 record. The magic of their hot start has faded into frustration. Now, sitting at 25th and 24th and 11th in the West, they're not battling for a title, they're fighting for a play-in spot. It's a season defined by turmoil and tension. Every game feels like a referendum. Is this team done, or can they shock the world once again? Since their triumphant 4th title in 2022, the Golden State Warriors have been fighting a battle on 2 fronts, time and talent. With Stephen Curry still playing at an elite level, the clock is ticking to capitalize on his remaining prime years. Yet the road has been anything but easy. The front office has scoured every option to reshape the roster around their superstar, from blockbuster trades to low-risk gambles. But so far, their efforts have amounted to minor tweaks rather than seismic shifts. And opponents noticed. With Curry as the team's lone offensive engine, defenses set their sights on him. They face-guarded him from the logo, trapped him at half court, and doubled him even when he didn't have the ball. Their message was clear. Someone else, anyone else, has to beat us. But night after night, that rarely happened. The supporting cast struggled to punish defenses for their Curry obsession. Shot creation was scarce, and the offense ground to a halt on nights when he was bottled up. Losses piled up. Frustration set in. The standings slipped. Do you like the content? Tap subscribe and let's keep going. When the Warriors traded for Dennis Schroeder, the idea made sense, at least on paper. A veteran point guard who could handle the ball, create his shot, and take some of the burden off Steph Curry. That's exactly what Golden State needed, in theory. From the jump, Schroeder never quite fit into the Warriors' system. He looked hesitant, out of sync, like a player second-guessing every move. His jumper, which had been solid in Brooklyn, completely disappeared. Defenses took notice, sagging off, clogging the lane, daring him to shoot, and he just couldn't make them pay. Over 24 games, brutal 37% from the field, and in this season, he put up just 10 points, 2.2 rebounds, and 4.3 assists per game. Golden State went 11-13 during that stretch, certainly not the impact they were hoping for. And this is where it gets wild. Despite moves like this not working out, despite injuries and despite inconsistency, somehow, the Warriors still find ways to compete. How? Why? Because this team shouldn't be this good, yet here they are. and they just pulled off a blockbuster move at the trade deadline, sending Andrew Wiggins and Dennis Schroeder in a deal for Jimmy Butler. And let me tell you, Butler is already proving why this gamble could be a game changer. Since joining the Warriors via trade, Butler has made an immediate impact. In just 2 games, he has scored 45 points and taken 28 foul shots. Butler brings exactly what the Warriors were missing: a self-creator who can score under pressure, ease the load on Steph Curry, and inject his signature toughness and fire into the team. You can feel his impact immediately. With Butler on the floor, Steph finally has some breathing room. No more facing double teams every possession. Butler's ability to punish defenders one-on-one or pick apart defenses in 4-on-4 situations has opened up the entire offense. But it's more than just X's and O's. Butler's presence has completely changed the Warriors' mentality. There's a new swagger, a fresh edge to their game. This team looks hungrier and scrappier, and they believe in themselves. It's only been 2 games, but they're already 2-0 in the Jimmy Butler era. But with just 2 games alongside Jimmy Butler, something feels different. When Steph Curry hits the bench, the team no longer looks lost or desperate to hold on. Instead, they've found a new rhythm, a new identity, and it's all thanks to Butler. Jimmy Butler has wasted no time embracing his role as the Warriors' lead scorer and playmaker during Curry's rest. He's playing with aggression, controlling the tempo, and punishing defenses in the mid-range, his bread and butter. Butler thrives in isolation, breaking down defenders methodically and living at the free throw line. His ability to slow the game down not only racks up points, but also keeps opponents from getting out in transition. And for the Warriors, that shift in pace is invaluable. But Butler's impact isn't just on offense. Defensively, he brings grit and intensity, setting the tone for a more physical lineup. With Curry resting, the Warriors lean on their defense to grind out possessions and control the pace. We saw it against the Bucks. With Butler leading the charge, they closed the third quarter with a flurry of stops and buckets. Suddenly, those non-Curry minutes aren't about survival. They're about seizing momentum. The Warriors just picked up 2 straight wins. Yeah, the Bulls were a mess, coming off a brutal 40-point smackdown from the Pistons, and the Bucks, missing Giannis. But listen, in a Western Conference, these stacked style points don't matter. Wins do. And right now, the Warriors are stacking them. But here's what's wild. They shouldn't be this good. With Jimmy Butler in the mix, this squad has that gritty, never-back-down energy. They're not just winning games, they're building something even more dangerous: momentum. And momentum in the West? That's priceless. So, what are we looking at? Is this team for real, or is it just a hot streak? Here's the thing. You never bet against a team with Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, because when those two are on the floor, anything can happen. So, what do you think? Is Jimmy Butler the missing piece that finally solves the Warriors' biggest problem, or is there still work to be done? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more Warriors coverage. We'll be breaking down every game, every trade, and every highlight all season long. Stay locked in, and we'll catch you in the next one.